Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We will just wait a couple of more minutes so that other people can join, and then we shall begin. Good evening, everyone. I am so glad to welcome you all to this scholarship session by Yale Let's Celebrate Education. Let me introduce you to your mentors for this evening. I am Jasleen, and I'm here with my co-mentors, Ekta and Nachiket. Ekta and Nachiket, if you could just come on and say hi.
Am I audible, Justine?
Yeah, Nachiket.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session. I'm one of your mentors for this course, and we'll start very shortly. We're just waiting for a few more people to join in. I believe there are 32 participants joined yet. So I think, Justine, we can start.
All right. So I'll start presenting. Are all three of us audible to you? Just anyone can unmute and tell us.
Yes, you guys are audible.
All right. So one small request. I would like you all to stay on mute. If you have any questions, put it in the chat or use the raise hand feature, and then we can just stop and talk to you guys. Feel free to ask questions. It's a very friendly session. It's not at all formal or nothing to be intimidated by. So at any point, if you want to ask anything, feel free to do so. Nachiket, just let me know once you can see my screen.
Yeah, you can see it.
You can? All right. So yeah, once again, we would really like to welcome you all to this session. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope at the end of this session, you will go home with something new and interesting, and you will feel like you accomplished and learned something. So we would start off with introducing ourselves, since that's the first step, because once you know us, then the topic obviously will make more sense to you. So I am Jasleen. I am a final year student. I am currently pursuing triple majors in physics, maths, and computer science in Mount Carmel College, Bangalore. I am definitely very interested in data science and will be taking up data science as my master's in the coming academic year. Here on the screen, I guess you can see some of my achievements. I'm also a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador starting this year. I am also the campus ambassador for Girls Script Bangalore. And currently, I also have a textbook under publication in association with IIT Bombay, which would come out really shortly. And I am really excited about that. And just so you know, I am one of your student mentors. And at one point of time, I was just like you guys, wondering what this is and how to go about it and what are the things, and pretty much very clueless in the beginning. So now, if I'm in a position to help you guys, trust me, you guys can do it as well. So no need to worry and no need to be intimidated by the whole hype around data science. If you have it in you, if you're interested enough, if you're passionate enough, anything is possible. Over to you, Nachiket.
So, hi guys, my name is Nachiketa Hebar, and I don't want to bore you with everything in my introduction. You can probably find all of this on LinkedIn. I'll just give you a brief about myself. I'm a YouTuber. I've been teaching AI for the past 1.5 years. And if you just go onto YouTube, you search my name, you'll probably find me. And I've published 2 research papers in the field of data science. And most importantly, I am still a final year student. I'm still completing my engineering, and my major is electronics and communication, which is interesting to note because electronics and communication is very distant from data science. And this goes on to show that you don't need formal education to become good at data science. You just need internet, great resources, and some dedication. And that is what we plan to do with this course, to condense all 3 of our learnings into this 15-day course so that you don't make the mistakes that we did and you can learn data science more effectively. So that was my introduction, and I let Ekta introduce herself now.
Ekta, are you there with us?
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, Ekta, you're audible.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. So yeah, you've got to know your student mentors for this program. Now you get to know even someone who's already been working in this field. So let's start talking about my story. So I am just an engineer turned data scientist. So if you're wondering like whether like we've already taken up engineering, now how will it go or how you can actually go about it, it's like something that you will take away from whatever I have to tell you today. So I have done my engineering in IT, like that is your bachelor's BE in IT. And after that, I actually worked for 2 years, and I worked in the general domain of software development. That is your application development, be it any kind of, working with any kind of code. So I had been doing that for like a period of 2 years, but then I came to know about data science during that process. That is, I used to work with different teams and collaborate with them on understanding data and how the data actually flows through the organization. So, by doing such communication meetings and by understanding how things go about, I got really very interested into data as to how the data flows and everything. So then I was working as a part of an investment bank. So when you're working as a part of a large organization, you really don't know what kind of data is actually present in that organization or what you can really do with it or what is the potential of it because you are a very small part of some team where you're not aware of the entire ecosystem or how the entire flow of information is in that organization. So you come to know about things and you learn things gradually, like it takes you time. So for this kind of a thing, when you understand how data really flows and how uh, data changes over the time and over the course of how it comes to your team, you realize how important data is. And that is the place where I understood how much important data really is. So it is very, very important to understand that everything today in this world is actually running on data. Like if you look around or even just imagine your life around in a day, you'll see that there is a lot of data that you're dealing with on a daily basis. And that is not just about you as an individual, but even organizations are basing all the decisions that they take via data. So, looking at this current tech savvy world, you'll realize that data is very, very important. So, for talking about my journey, I really got to know about data science in those period of 2 years, and then I finally decided to pursue my master's in data science so that I would get a good grip of knowledge and what all skill sets are required for actually get and break into the field of data science. So, most of you, as like the things that are visible on your Google News or maybe whatever newspapers that you're reading, you'll read a lot about analytics, data science that is coming up. There are these jobs, those jobs, like some kind of a hype around it, and that is what attracts most youngsters today. Like good job role, senior level job role, and that is what like attracts people. But that is not what data science is actually about. So here we are today to actually tell you about the reality and what actually composes the field of data science and how it really matters to make a informed decision. That is to know about all the information that is existing and to see your interests, whether your interest aligns with what this field has to offer. Then that's the only point when you decide that you want to actually break into this field of data science. So, talking about my story further, I pursued my master's in data science from NMIMS, which is like a two, 2 year complete master's course, wherein I got exposure to various different skill sets, which is Python, R, SAS. These are all things which you would have heard of. Like these are very common words which you would hear and relate to in any kind of a data science interview, job description, articles, all the hype that is going around, even on social media, be it on Twitter, be it on LinkedIn, be it wherever. So you'll get to hear a lot about all of these words. So it is very much important to, gain a good grip on all the skill sets which are a part of data science. So I gradually developed my skill set on the programming side, that is with the help of Python, R, and SAS. And then there are some basic concepts which you need to be very clear about. That is your mathematics. So I got some knowledge on statistics, probability, and your basic mathematics. It does not go beyond a particular level. And the third thing, which is more important to actually get into this field, is applying it with the help of whatever statement you have. So if there is a problem statement that you have to solve in any organization, you'll just be given a one-line problem statement. Okay. So right from getting your data, that is fetching your data from a particular source, to actually getting your output, that is whatever is your perceived output, it is the entire cycle is like what a data scientist actually does. Like that is what is actually forming the core of your data science field. So I got exposure working on different internships at Macros and General Mills, where I got to work on different machine learning use cases, be it deep learning use cases. So I got to work on. I'll just share one such kind of a project which I had done with General Mills, which was very interesting. Something that, as an end product, you all will appreciate and would really want to, know how it is actually built. So it is about, so General Mills is a consumer goods company. So that is, they produce food. So now, as they are producing food, they are a major leader in the US markets. So all their products are majorly sold like they're available in wide varieties, and you have General Mills products even in India. But the major chunk is sold in the US because that's their major market from where they actually began years ago. So the use case was such that I was asked to build an Android application which would classify the food products that you can see in your kitchen or supermarket. Like suppose, say for example, we want to like we have apples at home and we have, say, chocolate at home. Now if we click picture of the apple and the chocolate, the application will first tell you what that particular food product is, because if you do not know the name of it, like in a supermarket, if you go and you just click a picture of a particular product, it's not necessary that always you know what that product actually is or what its name is, like what it is actually used for. So if you click the picture, it will tell you exactly what that product is in the first stage. Then secondly, it tells you what all recipes you can create with the help of that product which is identified. Okay. So this is a very interesting level application which was built and which was actually like used by customers across the US market segment. So whoever goes to supermarkets or if they're at home, they're actually using that application to find out, how like how you can actually make recipes with whatever food material you have. So now, if I am at your place, my first question would be, how is this actually happening? That if I'm clicking a picture of an apple, it is actually telling me that it's an apple. How will a computer know? A computer just understands zeros and ones, right? How will it know that this is a picture of an apple? So the technology that goes behind it is called as image classification and image recognition. And this basically uses like it it comes under the field of deep learning. We will talk about all of these terms, don't worry if you all are actually not aware of these terms also. We will give you like a brief description of each of these things, where we have a session where we are talking about the buzzwords. So what happens is, what we are trying to build is we are building an algorithm. What is an algorithm? An algorithm is basically a set of steps. So you're going to be building a set of steps which will help you take sample images of different food products, and you will tell your computer, that is, you will feed in that input on your computer that this is an apple. So basically, you're just telling, like the way you ask your child, like the way a child grows up and you ask him to, like, utter a word, you teach him how to say a certain word. It's the same thing. That is, your machine is learning over the time, and that's how it's able to recognize products. So in the same way, when we are born as humans, we are like, we do not know how to walk, or we do not know how to talk, right, or eat, or anything for that matter. So we learn that by mimicking things or by actually looking at how to do things. So this is the same methodology which is followed by even our computers, and that is what is all about machine learning, deep learning, data science. It's all about learning with whatever input you have. And your input in this place would be, like, for a human being, for a kid, it would be all the actions that their parents or their cousins or whoever they are seeing around are taking. So that is what exactly the kid follows, right? So that is the input for the kid. And the kid's brain is actually the model which is being created or the algorithm which is being created. These may be like terms which might seem like very alien to you, something that is like striking right now. Does someone have anything to say? Okay. Uh, so these are things which might seem very difficult to understand currently, but you will get to know all about this, like at least the buzzwords, the clarification about the buzzwords. That Nachiketa will take you through that. But for the rest, the concepts, you will come to know each and everything directly, because that is what we
Can
intend to
everyone be
actually.
on mute? I'm sorry, Ekta, just a second.
Yeah, not a problem.
Please, everyone, stay on mute so that you can hear Ekta clearly. I can see Preeti. Preeti, please mute your audio unless you have a question.
Yeah, sure. Just a minute.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so this is what we intend to take you through in our course. The major
Hello.
benefit. Hello. Yes, Preeti. Do you have a question?
Can you please give me a minute? I'll connect my headphones.
Okay. So that was one of the projects which I had got a chance to work on at General Mills, and it was a really very interesting application which actually helped people simplify things and actually create a very beneficial algorithm or a beneficial application which could be used by anyone. So talking about me, back to me. So I have like around 3 years of experience, counting my 2 years working as a software developer. And I have worked in the data science field for close to like 1.5 years now. And I'm very much passionate about data science research because I've done a lot of research work in the field of image classification and reinforcement learning. And I am currently working as a data scientist at Viacom 18, working with Woot Select. I think people would be aware of Woot, where Big Boss gets streamed, and even Khatro Ke Khiladi and various other shows. So yeah, I have also been conducting a lot of workshops around Python and machine learning. I am a writer with the Analytics India magazine, where I write every month about whatever I learn about in that particular month, and it could be about new technologies, my insights on the existing technology, or the developmental algorithms which take place. So I write about anything and everything. Financial analytics is my favorite subject, so I do a lot of mentoring for financial analytics and expert lectures at different colleges. And I have mentored data science hackathons also, so that people who are really new and who want to break into the field of data science, I help them to get to that path and really identify whether data science is their field or no, and help them with the same. I've worked on a certain number of applications and projects, which has actually gone on to the IBCA journal also, and which has come up as a research paper. Jasleen, can you move to the next slide?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So now what you see here is like our course walkthrough. So now, as we are all aware that Jay has actually launched a number of courses, and today we are talking about data science as a course, and we intend to like complete this course in a month. Given the kind of like, we'll just have a walkthrough about what kind of topics we are actually going to be teaching you. This is all complete in transparent, that is, we are telling you about all the different things that you learn through the course and what kind of a value addition it is actually doing through your profile, and where it will take you like in this great field of data science. So talking about it, first what we'll be doing is we'll be starting with introduction to data science in our first few lectures, where we'll be talking about what data science actually is, what kind of skill sets you require for it, what are the different tools that people use. I'm sure that you would have heard of Python as a tool which is used for any kind of a coding or anything related to data science. So yes, that is our major chunk of tools which is used worldwide by everyone. And even you will gradually have to, get your hands on it. That is like, we'll be talking about the different tools also, but this is just a starter that we'll be starting with Python. Then you would have heard about R, SAS, Excel. Excel is like, I think, the most basic tool which everyone has learned, I think, as a part of your school. And then many of you diverging into different fields might not have actually got a chance to work on it. But yes, it forms a very, very important component, especially when you're working at organizations, or even if you're like having your own idea, startup, etc., whatever be it. Excel is a very important tool. Then you will even know about the different, learn about the different visualization tools that we have, the Tableau, Power BI, and there are some cloud utilities. That is, I am sure people have heard about AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, and then its competitors, that is Azure, and GCP, which is your Google Cloud Platform. So we'll be talking about the tools and about the what and how, that is, what skill sets are required, what a data scientist actually does, and what data science actually is. Jacqueline will also give you a brief about it, followed after the walkthrough, so that you get a brief idea about what it's actually going to be like. Then what we do is we'll be talking about the different applications of data science. So I think these days, like if you look at in your daily life, like if you look at your phone, many times, I'm not sure like if any one of you have seen this. I have like 2 days ago, I just saw a notification pop up on my phone which says that expect rain around 7 p.m. in the evening. Okay, so just tell me now, how is this actually happening? So it's telling you, like, the system is actually telling you at what time rains are actually going to be coming in. So this is just simply prediction. So now when this kind of prediction takes place, it is a lot of computation that goes on the back end. And now this computation is formally termed as machine learning. That is, some kind of processing is happening, some kind of calculations are done to arrive at this. So this is just one of the applications which I have just seen recently, and that's why I popped it up. But you also see such things like such indicators in the news which says orange alert raised for your city, or whatever, like red alert for your city. There are going to be floods around, this, that. So this is all prediction about the future, because we actually don't know what is going to happen, but we are predicting for the times ahead. And how are we doing that? We are doing that by taking some kind of data which has been coming from the backend. That is your historical data. That is data that you've collected over the years and over the time periods. So that is what you take to predict something. So these are like just some basic examples of applications which are implemented with the help of data science. So we'll talk about various applications which are there across verticals and industries, because data science is not limited to just the technology domain, but it is well established in each and every industry that you see. Like you'll see applications of data science wherever and whatever, from education to healthcare, to from banking to anything that you speak of, you will see data science being utilized there. So that is what we will be covering under applications. After the applications part, we will move on to and make you ready for coding in Python. That is Python for data science from scratch. So under this, we will be covering some basic Python libraries or coding which you should know, because that is very important for you to move ahead to implement all of this complex stuff that we are talking about. So we will go through the NumPy library, the Pandas library, the scikit-learn library. So these are some of the basic libraries. Even though you are not aware of these names or not aware of these terms, don't worry about that. You will come to know as a part of the course. Like, there will be enough exposure given to like the practical coding, as well as explaining you how the functions work. And we'll also be giving you assignments and projects which will help you reiterate and revise those concepts which you've actually learned in lectures. Okay, so that is about your popular libraries that you'll be learning about, NumPy and Pandas. Now, after that comes your major chunk, that is about your mathematics and statistics. Now, mathematics is very important. Like, as a part of data science, you need to understand your mathematics and statistics very well. So what is required is not really very high level of mathematics, but very basic mathematics. But so the mathematics level has to be such that you understand all the basics very clearly. So that would be the focus of our section of those lectures too, which would go on basic mathematics and statistics. So the components which are very important are linear algebra, like your matrix algebra that you've learned in class 12, class 11, class 10, whenever. That is a very, very important component of all the algorithms that you follow. So that will be like one of our major starting topics. Then we move on to calculus. Calculus is something you have definitely learned about in your 12th standard before your board exams, I'm sure. So you do not need to know everything in depth, but you need to know the basics very well. So hence we have included mathematics also as a component of our entire course structure, because it is very important to know it as a part of your like data science curriculum. And like if you want to be industry ready to work in the industry as a data scientist, to answer the interview questions, what you'll be requiring is your maths. So yes, you will need to polish up and like work on your maths. So that's why we've included this as a major component. After calculus, you also need to know about descriptive statistics, which is your central tendencies and probability distributions, because this is very, very important. Probability is something that is always used for prediction. Like if you see its applications, major applications are there for its mathematical values. Um, yeah, I can see some questions on the chat window. Jasleen and Nachiketa, can you just have a look at them and answer them, or else what we'll do is we'll answer all of the questions as a part of the Q&A section.
Yeah, let's do that. In the end, we'll address all the questions.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, so talking about the descriptive statistics and probability part, so that will also be a part of the mathematics lectures that we are going to be taking. After that, we will move on to the data science life cycle. That is right from finding your data to ingesting your data to exploring your data to modeling your data, and then to see like how we can actually deploy it and use it. So for example, like the use cases I pointed out about expecting rain around whatever time. So this is like the output that you're actually seeing, right? So for that output to be actually, visible to your screen, before that, there is a lot of background work that is actually done by the engineers or data scientists who are actually working in that team. So who actually bring this application live, they work through this entire life cycle to get your data, to ingest it, to work with it, to clean the data, to pre-process the data, to explore the data as to what all we can actually remove from that data, or get like maximum inferences out of that data. So that is all about what happens in the entire data science lifecycle. So we'll be focusing on the complete end-to-end life cycle, talking about the various steps and the importance of each and every step, and actually making you do hands-on coding, because hands-on coding will actually establish you to perform any kind of real world application in the best possible way. So it will help you to write codes easily, and we will also give you practice with the help of assignments. So that is what the major focus of the data science life cycle will be. So as you will be working as a data scientist, following the entire data science life cycle is going to be your day in, day out job. That is, for every business problem that you have to solve, that is a use case will be given to you. Now there'll be just like a one line sentence written, or maybe just like a mail written to you with 4-5 lines of like whatever the problem is, and you will be expected to solve that problem. So as a data scientist, you have to start from looking out for data, which is already, if it's a larger organization, you might just have to look for data like that, is fetch data from various sources and get it all along together, get it in the right place and in the right format. And if there is no data, you might have to actually go about like looking out for data. That is, you might need to start creating data. Look for sources as to how you can actually start capturing the data if the data is not existing. So once you have actually you have the data in place, then you can go around with applying any kind of algorithms or mathematics that you will be learning. You will learn all of that as a part of the course, but that is what is a regular, like a day in day out job for a data scientist. Now, once like you have a basic familiarity with the data science life cycle, we will go in depth with each and every step. That is starting from data extraction. So we will learn about MySQL and MySQL, and then we move on to PySpark so that you even learn about big data. So for people who are not actually aware about how or what big data actually is, it generally means or refers to data that is very large in size. So today data is being captured by all kind of social media. It is being generated on a minute to minute basis even by your smartphones. The data that is actually collected, and this data is stored at servers, like it is stored at server locations. So when you fetch this data, you will see that it is GBs and TBs of data. So for this to be incorporated and for us to actually make it usable, you will have to extract this data with the help of non-relational database languages like MongoDB, PySpark. Like these are all languages which will help you even fetch like this large kind of data. Hive is also one such example. So what we used to work on in the earlier times, data was generally in the relational database format, that is in the form of tables, which is rows and columns, that is your Excel sheets, your CSVs, your tabular structured data. So that fit into your MySQL very easily. So now when we have unstructured data, which is like any kind of data could be in any form, it might not be in the form of a table, and it could be any kind of a random structure, could be a heap or a stack. And so for that kind of a data structure, you will require unstructured data sources. And so for that, you will require PySpark to, actually read the data quickly, and you can prepare your data like quite quickly. So for that kind of a thing, we'll go through data extraction. Then we'll move on to the next stage, which would be data pre-processing, cleaning, and everything, which will like fill in your data and make your data complete. So when you look through like the different features which are like captured as a part of your data might consist of multiple rows or multiple columns, but this data can be missing at many parts. So for that purpose, you will have to deal with missing data as well. And you'll learn about the techniques as a part of that. Then you'll move on to data exploration and like different things about data modeling. So once you see, what do you mean by data exploration? So when you see data exploration is like just visualizing the data that you have. So your data may be in the form of text or numbers or a combination of both, or even images, audio, video, could be in any of the format as we deal with multimedia format on a daily basis. So you should be able to visualize this data. You can actually visualize this data with the help of Python library. So we will learn about that too. And it will be very interesting to actually know about what kind of Twitter trends are going on, or what is the sentiment around like the Riya Chakraborty case. It's just a random example. So this is what you'll learn through your data exploration schemes. Then what we'll learn about is data modeling, which is like your machine learning, wherein you learn about the different types of machine learning algorithms, which is supervised and unsupervised learning algorithms. And Nachiketa will take you through the machine learning buzzwords and whatever is like specified under the types of machine learning. He will tell you what actually. So what we actually spoke about in the example of prediction of rains, it is machine learning which is deployed at the backend, and it is some kind of prediction. Just keep that in mind right now, because we want to just convey the audience in the most simplest form. That is, just you're doing some kind of prediction on the basis of whatever data you have collected over a period of time. Okay, so that is what machine learning will enable you to do. Now, after that, what you will get to work on, like once you come to know about the concepts, like what the different concepts are and what the different algorithms are, you will be able to apply it on some kind of data sets, which we will be providing it to you as a part of assignments. So you will learn applying those algorithms on certain data sets, and then we will give you a good revision with the help of us that you can actually learn about applying it. There is no use of actually learning about theory and not applying it. So application along with theory is very much important, and data science is more of a practical field than a very theoretical field comparatively. After that, like once your models are created, algorithms are in place, what you learn about is model performance and evaluation. Once you know that you have created some kind of a model for predicting, you will actually want to test it, whether what kind of predictions I'm getting is it actually matching with the data that I already have? Is it actually matching for the past 10 days? I'm just taking an example. Like if you take the past 10 days as like your test part of the set, that is, you will see like once your model is built over the data which you have before 10 days, you want to evaluate how it is working around. So for that purpose, you can test it for the past 10 days and see how it is performing, and you will come to know the accuracy of it. So when you talk about accuracy, it just, in simplest words, it just means how many did I get? That is, if it rained today, did my model also say that it rained today? If both are equal, then we just say that it is in line and the performance has been 100% for today. That way, we will evaluate over a period of time and get the performance and evaluations correct. Next up, what we'll be going through is the time series models, which will help you to make predictions on the stock market data. I'm sure everyone's heard about how, the stock market data is, and it's all numbers and it comes over a period of time. Like it is associated with a factor which is called as time or the date. So you will learn about the different models which are a part of the time series models, and we have an associated lecture time for it also, so that you get a good, like a good exposure to, understanding how the stock market is. Then, as a last part of our course, we will teach you the entire cycle, that is, from obtaining the data to exploring the data to creating a model for it, which would form a part of our model app deployment. That is, you will actually be able to create a model, and you will be able to see its predictions very clearly on your screen. Like if it's an Android app, you'll be able to see it on an Android app, or if it's a web application, you'll be able to see it on a web application. So what actually deployment does is it is just producing the output in front of your eyes to see how your model, which is your mathematics that is performing on the backend, is alive and visible, and it's actually generating some value. So this is what our entire course structure is, and this is how we balanced it in such a manner that you are actually industry ready to work as a data scientist. So we have tried to cover up all the basics and fundamentals which are mainly required for a data science prospect. It is a complete blend of theory as well as practical knowledge. So you will get a good knowledge about all the theoretical concepts, and then you can apply them by the assignments or projects that we will go around through the course of 1 month. So there will be like 15 lectures, which are 2 hours each, and which would cover like 30 lectures overall. And you will get to know about these different concepts which are listed here, which is like your course walkthrough. Now, we see that like there are like around a lot of people who join now, like around 35 people. Now, if someone can like just tell us like what is a kind of an, like I would just want like 3 people to like tell us what is your kind of expectations out of a data science course. Like what do you think data science is? What kind of a course is actually required? And like what kind of things do you expect from data science majorly? If there is someone, anyone can just unmute themselves and also speak. We just want it to be interactive so that it doesn't become boring, and we also get to know about what kind of expectations people have.
Exactly. So please feel free.
Yeah, anyone can, we are just all here to answer questions, to clear off any doubts that you have, or like just be more clear, simply.
Hello.
Yeah, go on. Who's this? Just introduce, just give your name.
Yeah, am I audible? So I could.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you're audible.
Yeah, thank you. So this is Tarun. Actually, I'm working as an ETL developer for almost 1.5 years. So I'm think like I'm from Hyderabad, and right now I'm thinking to get into this data science kind of career. So that's the reason I got this link, and I have registered here. So that was all about me, and so I just as you asked me the expectations, what I will expect from not only this course, in the learning perspective, what I could expect is something like see, like I heard that when I was going through these data science course and what all important, so I came across the first thing, one of the programming languages which we required. So that comes to Python, because it's more vastly used, not only in the prospect of data science, but it is also used in some various kind of various kind of alternate things also. So as this course has already teaching Python, so that would be helpful. And coming to math, like I would expect more about statistics, probability, and all those kind of complete maths from basic, because it's been 10 years or 15, sorry, 10 to 12 years we came across this maths again after childhood. So I would literally expect it from a basic level. So if you can tell us more about from a basic level of math, then it would be very useful. And not only like just for data science, but if we could learn it more well, the math and the statistics, these things, if we learn very well, then we'll get into more technical, and we will build our ability to develop more future projects. If someone asked us, why did you implement this model, so there should be a very hard base that because of these conditions I have implemented these kind of model, and I use these stats and probability functions, or maths in this model. That's what we could expect in math. So thereafter, after that, mostly we look at how to create a model and how to deploy it. And like either we deploy it in cloud, maybe AWS or Azure. So we need that kind of deployment things, like not complete on it, but at least we need to know end to end data science life cycle. Some, like you told, from where we extract the data, and like after transformations, pre-processing, creating a model, and thereafter at last deploying it into any cloud service. That's what full data life cycle that we need. And the major thing is like for each and every each and every theoretical stat, or each and every theoretical math what we learn, there should be an real time application on it. Like I saw, like in most of the YouTube channels, or some other tutorials, they are teaching us the equation or the formula behind it, but they are just giving with a simple example, taking two columns and finding out the probability of those two. If I say in deep, they are just taking an example of dice, uh, 54 set of cards. These are kind of examples that what uh, they are telling, but I would expect more than it, like basing upon the live data. If you could explain the scenarios or the formulas, then it would be very helpful for us to implement further. And coming to the final thing is like projects, like we need the projects in depth, or we need a different variants of projects, so that will be as you said, time series is one of the project, like image processing is one of the project area. So these kind of different varieties of projects that we need. Actually, I would expect this when I want to learn some data science course, because it's very highly important projects. That's what my idea is. It might be useful or not useful, but this is what my complete idea about data science. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so I'll just answer whatever you actually pointed out. So Tarun, we are actually focusing on covering all of this only, as I just like went through the entire curriculum. So yes, the focus is on that only. And like as I have practical experience, I really understand what is actually needed and what is the main thing which people need focus on. And that's how we've designed the curriculum, and that's what the focus is going to be. So yeah, whatever you're talking about is duly served in this course. So yeah, won't be a problem. Uh, I think now, like we'll talk about all the questions later only in the Q&A section. It was just to make this a bit more interactive so that people don't get bored. Now I think Jasleen will take you through the rest of the section.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ekta.
Welcome.
So, as you guys just went through the host curriculum walkthrough, I hope now you have a vague idea of what we are offering at YA and what are we going to teach. And I hope you guys are following whatever we are talking about till now. So before I start sharing my screen again and giving you an introduction, I would like to ask you guys, how many of you are actually familiar with data science or have worked in a domain or have studied it in any form? Just answer with a show of hands. Okay, I see 1, 2, 3. Okay, any more? Okay, 4. That's great. Okay, so that is actually a good number, and Sejal says she has some basic concepts, so that's pretty good. Any sort of prerequisite is obviously not required in the course, but it would definitely help you guys. So I'll once again share my screen. Ekta, just let me know it's visible.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Not visible yet.
How about
Yeah,
now?
it's visible now. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So for the people who raise their hands, bear with me for a few minutes so that the people who do not actually know the basic concepts of what exactly happens in data science can get a brief overview. And I'm sure whatever Ekta covered might have given you some idea. But I see some questions. Guys will answer every question in the end. So just please be patient for a while. We are looking at all your questions, so it's noted. So to begin with, to put it as simply as possible, it is defined as obtaining any kind of information, insights, or any kind of conclusion, anything of value out of a data set or out of any data that is available. So what is data? How is data generated? Why is data so important right now? I will cover all that. We will talk about it. But data science essentially has become the next big thing right now in relation with AI and ML and other things. But what is the reason behind this massive boom? So basically, if I have to explain it to you in a very simple story, I would like to take up the story of Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook just for his college campus. That's like one very closed unit of people. He thought he'll just sit down, create an app, create a website, and just have it within a very small community. So obviously, the data generated on the campus of Harvard while the website was being used was very small. Now you and me and millions of people around the world use Facebook. We all post pictures, we all post stories, we all post music videos, we post so much on all social media. And these things are there to stay on all our social media accounts. So all this data that is generated out of entertainment purposes, posting purposes, blogging, where does it all go? What happens to all this data? The whole process of this massive data generation, zettabytes of data on a daily basis on these platforms, has given rise to data science. Because earlier we did not have such massive amounts of data that needed to be managed. But now we have that amount of data, and we have so much data that we have come up with the concept of big data as well, which Ekta covered, which she talked about, that there are two types of data, unstructured and structured data. And therefore, there's a huge need to manage all this data. That is why data science has come up. So as you can see in the infographic that's before you, you can see it's a Venn diagram that shows what all data science comprises of. To speak in very bigger terms, it has an aspect of computer science and IT. It has an aspect of maths and statistics, and it has domain or business knowledge. So starting with computer science or IT, that's your basic programming languages, to take Python. Python is the most widely used language in data science right now. Then there's R, and then there are several other visualization softwares that we use these days. So computer science basics are very much required, are very much needed to start off with data science. So once you have covered your computer science basics, you know what your theorems, you know your algorithms, you are good to go to proceed to the next level. Along with computer science and IT related skills, you need your mathematics and statistics. Again, as Ekta said, without the math, you will be pretty much lost. So the math and the computer science aspect combined together will help you to develop a product that will implement data science. Again, as you can see, there's a small area that is overlapping with machine learning. Machine learning has been proven to be a great addition to data science because the predictive algorithms, the image analysis, and things like that obviously elevate any product. So once you have your computer knowledge and then you have your math or stat knowledge, you make a product, you put ML to it, and it automatically elevates your product. So that is how these things combine and these things overlap. Now coming to the domain of business knowledge, that is obviously gained only through experience working, making projects, and basically it's all about keep working and failing and then learning again and building up your skill set basically, and that only comes out of experience. So that is what data science is widely about and what you can expect once you step into this domain. Moving on, so you might wonder who is a data scientist. So what exactly data science is also a very wide spectrum, just like we saw. So to narrow it down to a data scientist in particular, it is someone who practices data science. As simply put, they draw a lot of conclusions from these applications that they develop using math and stats. So what are the basic skills that a data scientist needs to flourish in their domain? First of all, they need coding skills like Python and R. They need math and stat skills. Also, along with that, they need data visualization skills using Tableau, Excel, Power BI, AutoML, other stuff, and machine learning skills. Along with that, once you're done learning all these skills, you have to make a product to implement those skills, because until and unless you make an implementation, you make a product, you will not know where you stand. And that is what is the highlight of our course, that after teaching you all this, we are not leaving you without a product, without a practical experience, because otherwise just learning the theory, learning the processes, the algorithms is of no use unless you implement it. And trust me, implementing anything is the best way to learn. So I know a lot of people are often very intimidated by the whole process of making a product, thinking about the deployment, being afraid that, okay, I don't know the skill, I don't know how to use the cloud services, I don't know how to deploy a model, I don't know how to create a model. So all that will be covered in our course. And along with that, any data scientist needs lifelong learning skills. You cannot stop learning when it comes to data science, because the reason is very clear. Data science has been booming for the last couple of years, and trust me, the bigger boom is yet to come. For example, right now we have a very small population who actually deals with this, but most companies employ data scientists. Facebook, Amazon, you think of any company, they need a data scientist to work for them, because every company is generating huge amounts of data on a daily basis. So to manage everything in a very efficient way, in an ethical way, and to predict what their company is going to face using the data procured, we all need the data scientist. So a data scientist cannot stop learning at any point. They have to keep up with the market skills. They have to keep up with whatever software that comes out. And on top of that, if you are not a lifelong learner, you will fall behind, because the new technologies are coming up day and day. And if you are up to date, if you have your coding logics clear, if you have your fundamentals strong, there is no software, no program, no theory, nothing new that you will not like, that you will not find challenging enough, and that you will have trouble understanding or learning. So that is why we will be focusing on all the fundamentals in this course with Ye, because that will obviously set you on a path to be better in the future, to be more informed, and to know the whole process of learning from scratch and implementing it into a product. So if I talk about myself as a student, when I was very much enlightened by this term of data science and data scientist, I often wondered, what does a day in a data scientist's life look like? Obviously, that was before Ekta and before she shared whatever experiences she has had so far. And again, she is our professional mentor, and we all have a lot to learn from her. But a day in a data scientist's life is actually pretty interesting to think of it. So as you can see, first of all, it encompasses identifying the problem statement. The problem statement, every company obviously has their own methodology of dealing with data, and thus there is a different problem statement in every case. And the problem statement is basically your clue that you need to become your very own Sherlock Holmes, solve the problem, and come up with an innovative solution. So the first step is getting the problem statement. The second step is getting a cleaned, very much intact and complete data set. Just like Ekta discussed, the whole process of data pre-processing, wrangling, cleaning, and exploration, that is one of the very important steps in any data scientist's work, because if you do not have a clean, complete data set, you cannot proceed further. Your work will not be complete unless you clean the data set. If you have any discrepancies, any anomalies, your model, your predictions will not be accurate. So that is one of the most important steps of the journey. The next comes the collection of structured and unstructured data from different sources. So the basic difference, if I have to tell you very simply, between structured and unstructured data is that anything that falls into a database or that is organized into tables or anything of a database is structured data. Unstructured data can be just about anything that does not follow a scheme, that does not follow an algorithm, that does not follow a rule. For example, if you just open your phone, all the stuff on it, your photos, your videos, your snapshots, they are all unstructured data to speak of, because they are not organized in a fixed scheme. So after cleaning and validating the data to ensure accuracy, completeness, and other things, we go to the next step, which is deploying and applying the models to solve the problem statement that we received. So that is how a data scientist goes about their work. After analyzing the data patterns, playing Sherlock for like half a day, if again in one day it's not possible to implement any model or any algorithm, it is a very exhausting, I would not say, but it is a very continual process that you have to keep going over to develop a model, to go through the data sets, identify the patterns and trends, and interpreting the data to finally come up with a visualization, come up with a whole ideation that how you're going to solve the problem statement. And then comes in the actual development phase. So this is basically what data scientists do on a daily basis. As Ekta also discussed, we have seen there's no part of this world that does not involve data science at the moment. As you all can see on the screen, these are just a few of the domains that require data science, that involve data science. Starting with healthcare. Healthcare, obviously, given the current COVID-19 situation, healthcare is very, very important and a very crucial place because faster solutions are needed to deal with health issues. Computers, technologies, everything is being involved just so the solutions can be faster, more efficient, more accurate. So in the healthcare domain, data science plays a very crucial role through medical image analysis, drug discoveries, and we also have, if you might have noticed, we also have virtual assistants nowadays on just about every website or every big pharma company. They have a virtual assistant for patients and customer support. Even if you try to book try to order something on Swiggy, nowadays you might realize that the first thing that pops up on your screen when you use the help or the chat button is actually a chatbot and not a real person. So the chatbot initially just takes in all your input, finds out what your issue is, classifies it. It's actually the software doing all the job. It classifies your problem, and then in the end, after narrowing down your issue to one concern, then the human person comes in and then he or she deals with your problem. So as you can see, the customer support domain is heavily benefited by AI, data science, and ML because it reduces their workload tremendously, and it also helps them to use their man force in a very efficient way. So the time of the customer support person is not wasted talking to you, getting the whole story. Instead, the software is doing that for them, and I think that's a very great innovation. So after healthcare, as you can see, banks are also using data science models for a lot of things such as fraud detection, credit risk modeling, customer lifetime value. Even the text messages and calls that you receive for taking loans, for buying stocks, and anything of that sort is triggered using data science. Then comes e-commerce. E-commerce is a very good market for data science. All our normal e-commerce websites such as Flipkart or Amazon, they all use data science. They use data science to suggest things you might like. That is a very good example of how data science models work. If you, for example, if you have a new account, you just open it, and the couple of searches that you do, eventually after a while, a suggestion box starts appearing that comes up with things that you might like or things that are related to your previous searches. Again, the whole process of recommending products to you involves data science. Analysis of reviews are done by data science, and basically they identify what the customer needs, what they want, and in turn pitch their product in a better way using data science. After e-commerce, we can see manufacturing again uses data science. They have automatic manufacturing units. They have maintenance scheduling, anomaly detection. Potential problems can be predicted using data science. Basically, any predictive job role or any predictive domain does involve data science. It can be the weather, it can be manufacturing, it can be stock market, just about anything. So coming to the next thing, transport again, I'm pretty sure you all must have been aware of the self-driving Tesla cars. They are the next big thing. Self-driving cars again implement data science. They are enhancing the driving experience using all the aspects of data science. These models, these algorithms are made efficient using data science and ML, and in turn, we are getting products that are more self-sufficient. We are getting products that do not require that amount of human intervention like we used to. And it is also, in a way, enhancing the safety of the passengers because machines are better at calculating risk, they're better at detecting potential problems and predicting the outcomes. So this was all about the aspects of data science and what the applications of data.
Hello. I think Jasleen had some network issue. Just hold on for a minute or two. She'll be back, I think.
Okay, so before Jasleen joins in, I think she's trying to join. We'll move forward with the next part of the section. All right, let me just show video.
Yeah, Nachiketa, do that.
Okay, so the next part of the section that we had planned was, okay, I think Jasleen has joined back again.
Yeah, sorry about that. My audio just went off for a minute. Nachiket, did you begin?
Yeah, we were planning on moving to the next part of the
Okay,
presentation.
I'll just wrap up my part and share the screen for you.
Sure. No problem.
Yeah, so I'm really sorry for the interruption. So as we were discussing, after learning the basics, after learning all the required skill sets, after implementing them into apps and models and websites and whatever product you can think of, what happens next? The next step is obviously, how do you get a job in data science? What is your designation going to be like? What would you be doing? Because again, data science is a very wide spectrum, and in that you can choose your own favorite one. So to list a few, these are the few job titles that most people in data science have. You can be a data scientist, data engineer, data architect, data administrator, data analyst, business analyst, data analytics manager, business intelligence manager, and even more, because this is a very upcoming field and new job roles, new designations are coming up every day. And please don't think that these job roles are only limited to the IT departments. It's nothing like that. Consulting firms, transport firms, manufacturing firms, just about, you can think of just about any domain that exists, they need data science in today's time. So learning data science will not just limit you to technology based roles or IT based roles or just to the IT sector. It will actually open you up to a whole new world of different opportunities, of different domains that you can venture in just by learning this concept, this topic. So I would really think there's something happening. Okay. So yeah, to conclude my part of the discussion, I would say that taking up this course will actually make you industry ready. And with the guidance of all the mentors, it would be our pleasure to guide you in every step of the way, to be there for the live sessions, to be there for any doubts, any questions. This is what the whole platform here wants to do with this course. We want more people to get into this domain, enjoy this domain, and in the end, succeed in this domain. So I hope everyone who was not familiar with data science before now has a pretty much clear idea what the job roles are and what the whole term data science entails. So now I would ask Nachiket to take over, and he will guide you through the next set of slides and talk about how machine learning and data science go together.
Okay,
Nachiket?
thank you, Jasni.
Yeah.
So before starting with machine learning, there's some few things I want to clarify. First of all, thank you all for sticking for 1 hour or more. I know it's hard to put your focus onto something for this duration, and the very fact that you guys are here up till now means that you're really interested in this field. Now, about data science, first of all, before learning anything, I'm going to talk about what machine learning exactly is. But before that, we need to see the reason why you joined this course, right? You've taken the course of data science, you probably have 2 or 3 goals in mind. You probably think this field is very interesting, you probably think this field is very profitable, and you know that all revolutionary advancements that are happening are because of data science. And all these 3 things are true. But because this is so attractive, right, everyone is trying to get into it. So I think there are 30 people in this chat right now, but millions of people are trying to get in this field, right? I've been parts of communities where people who are 30 or 40 years old are trying to switch into data science. And if you look at colleges right now, freshers have the option of machine learning in their bachelor programs. They have BTech with CSE and specialization in machine learning. So competition is in millions right now. And it's clear that when there's so much of competition, this creates something called as the winner takes all market, right? Meaning people who are at top of the talent skill are going to thrive and rest are not. So what you guys need to focus on is to do what the rest of the competition is not doing. And that's what we plan to do in this course. We're going to study everything from its most logical root, learn to question everything. And I'm going to teach machine learning now. It's for 2 reasons. A, you'll see how easy this is. There's lots of wrong beliefs built around it. I'm going to try to remove that. And second thing, you'll get an idea of how a live session is going to feel like. All right. So before starting with machine learning, if anyone has any idea about what machine learning is, just write that in the chat. If you're feeling confident enough, you can unmute yourself and tell me, right, just what machine learning is, or any examples of machine learning that you've seen in your daily lives. right? And it's okay to be wrong. In fact, I encourage wrong answers, because if you answer something wrong and then you get corrected, you're going to remember that for a much longer time. So does anyone have any idea of what machine learning is, or any example around their daily lives that they have seen in machine learning? Just take a guess. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. If you knew everything, you wouldn't be in this course, right? Okay, so Sejal Jain has said automated driving. Okay, that's a very great example. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Sayani Ghosh says making the machine learn. All right. Okay, some people have some good idea of these examples. Okay, making machine learn, automated driving. Okay, making models that self-predict things very well, feeding machine with data. Okay, somewhat, somewhere close. All right, so I think a lot of you have some sort of idea about this, and I want to, machine learning is the ability of automatically learn and improve from experience. Okay, that's an excellent definition. Okay, so let me make this very, very clear. So you might have heard of things like artificial intelligence and machine learning, deep learning, data science, right? So we need to figure out how these are related, right? And give me 15 to 20 minutes of your undivided attention. I'm going to make it worth your time, right? I'm going to make sure when you go to sleep today, you're very, very knowledgeable about machine learning than when you wake up in the morning today, right? So artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, big data, data science. These are things you might have heard, right? Artificial, I'm going to start with artificial intelligence first. You can see this bubbles, right? Artificial intelligence is a very, very broad field of study. In layman terms, it's simply making machines smart, right? It tries to make machines mimic human behavior. All right. Artificial intelligence has a lot of things inside of it, and machine learning is a very good chunk of it, right? As everyone was kind of giving correct definitions, but let's try to make it even more simple. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, and it basically hovers around learning with data, right? I'm going to make this more clear in a while, but let's talk about deep learning as well. If you know what machine learning is, deep learning is simply machine learning just done using neural networks. All right, that's all deep learning is. And data science, as Ekta and Jasleen explained so well, it's basically gathering information, insights, some sort of predictions, analysis from data, right? Figuring out the data. So machine learning, data science, all these have overlapping things a lot. So any data scientist worth his salt will have a very good foundation of machine learning, right? And big data is nothing, it's simply data science, but it's just gathering information from data, but on very large and very complex data sets, right? So let's, before giving you the actual definition, I want you to be very crystal clear with the definition, right? You should be so well versed with the concept that you can explain it to someone who is in a 10th standard. All right, so before getting to the exact definition, let's get a few examples of where machine learning is used. Justine, can you move to the next slide? Justine, thank you. Yeah. So you can see this Netflix. I think the slide has not changed yet, but I'm just gonna say it. So one of the biggest examples is Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, any video streaming platform, right? You get personalized recommendation, right? So you can see in the screen it says because you watched Narcos. Yeah. So how does Netflix know what shows you're gonna like? There's nobody sitting in the Netflix company and coding out these specific movies. It happens automatically, right? So whenever you watch a movie, you get better recommendations. That's machine learning at play, right? Another example, Jasleen, the next slide, please. Yeah, all online shopping recommendation. You go to Flipkart, you go to Amazon, everybody has gathered all your data and they know exactly what you would love to purchase. That is also machine learning, right? So it's everywhere. There are thousands of examples of this, self-driving cars or weather predictions, but all of this is machine learning, right? So let's get to defining it. So Justine, can you go to the next slide? Right. So if you go on to Wikipedia, which I suggest you don't, but if you search machine learning, this is a definition that you're gonna find, right? And I feel this is a very bad definition because it can confuse beginners. It says that machine learning is gonna make computers perform tasks without being explicitly programmed, right? Now, this is not the definition that I want you to memorize, right? Forget this definition. I feel it can be very confusing for beginners. What I want you to remember, right, is, Justin, can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So all you need to understand conceptually about machine learning is two things, right? Machine learning is simply learning from data, right? When you saw the example of Netflix, that was learning from data. It learned your past, dislikes and likes to make better predictions, right? So first step is that machine learning is going to learn from data at some form. Now, another definition of machine learning is that it's just glorified geometry, right? Now, to learn from data, machine learning uses some form of geometry, right? Which is why it just says it's glorified geometry, because it's just geometry which is hyped up. So when we get to the actual course, did someone have something to say? Okay. So when we get to the actual course, when we're talking about each and every algorithm, you're going to see that it's nothing but geometry, right? It's just hyped up because of its applications, right? So machine learning, even if you see anything, any example, you see Netflix, you see Flipkart, they're just learning from your data. To learn from data, they're going to use geometry, right? So that is what essentially machine learning is, right? Now the definition was very easy. What you need to learn is how to build a model, a machine learning model using that. So Justine, next slide, please. Yeah, as I said, it's learning from data, right? So any machine learning model will have the input as data. More the data, the better. And to learn from this data, you need to supply some sort of learning algorithm, right? You need to tell the machine, the model, how exactly should it learn from data, right? And using this, it can do a lot of things, but in most cases, it's going to make some sort of predictions, like your Google makes temperature predictions, or it's going to understand some patterns in your data. All right. So that is what a machine learning model comprises of, right? Justine, next slide, please. So let's talk about getting good at machine learning. If you want to truly master machine learning, you need to master the learning algorithms, right? Because the data is going to be the same for everyone. What matters is how well your expertise is in the learning algorithms, right? So I have written 3 algorithms over here on this slide, right? Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Okay, so somebody asked a question, what are neural networks? Neural networks is a part of deep learning, right? It's something which is used to mimic the human brain, right? And it does not come under machine learning. We'll talk about it in more detail when the actual course starts. But for now, does anyone have any idea about what supervised learning is, unsupervised learning is, reinforcement learning is, or any example of that, right? I think most people would know examples, not the definition, but that's fine. If you have any idea, feel free to write that in the chat, or I'll just go ahead and explain that. Okay. Supervised learning is labeled data. Excellent, excellent. Human intervention required in supervised learning. Somewhat correct. Not exactly human intervention, but yeah. But supervised learning with labeled data, okay. I can see people have a very good kind of prerequisite knowledge that is required in the course, and that's excellent. Even if you do not know anything, don't worry. We're going to teach you from scratch. So let's talk about the first algorithm, which is supervised learning, right? Justine, can you move to the next slide? Okay, so somebody already answered that it's working with labeled data, right? What I mean by that is, in supervised learning, you'll have the input and the output beforehand, right? So let's take the example of this image classification, right? You want to classify whether a particular image contains a cat or a dog. How do you train a machine learning model for this, right? You need to give it data. You need to give it images of cats and dogs, and you need to tell the model beforehand that, okay, see, this is a cat, and this one over here is a dog. And then it figures out up how to match the image with the correct label. So when you have the input output beforehand, that's called as supervised learning, right? It is similar to studying in an exam with a solved question paper, right? For example, you already have the correct answers in solved question paper, but you'll still try to solve the question and get your own answer and then match it. How correct was it with the actual answer, right? So just remember this, is if there's supervised learning, you have the input output beforehand. That's it. The next form of algorithm is unsupervised learning, right? And if you understand supervised learning, this is going to be very easy to understand. It's simply learning without supervision, meaning you have the input, but you do not have the correct output, which means your data is not labeled. Let's see the same scenario. You have the image of a cat, you have the image of a dog, but you do not know which one is a cat and which one is a dog, right? So you might think this is pretty useless, right? But no, this is a very popular algorithm, and what your machine learning model will be able to do is it will be able to segregate these two images. It can tell you that, okay, this species looks somewhat different and this looks somewhat different. This is massively used in online recommendations, in segregating customers. All right, so also I hope I'm not going too fast, right? If you guys want me to slow down, just leave that in the comments, because I normally people tell me that I speak in a very fast pace. So if anyone feels that I'm going too fast, tell me, I'll slow down. Just leave that in the chats and I'll be able to see that. And okay, so moving on to the next form of learning, which is reinforcement learning. So Jasleen, can you move to the next slide?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the last learning algorithm is reinforcement learning, and it's very easy to understand. It's simply reward-based learning. It's how you teach a dog to do something, right? And a good example is the game of chess, right? So what basically happens is certain things that you want your machine learning model to do, you give it rewards to do that. And when the model gets rewards, it tries to repeat the actions that can get it maximum rewards. A game of chess, for example, you might have played online chess, right, with the computer. So it has been trained using reinforcement learning. It has been told that the state of a checkmate or the state of removing a queen is very desirable, and it gives it very high rewards when the model does that. So it tries to repeat the action that is going to give it maximum rewards, right? And one of the biggest examples of this that really shook the world, that made people understand that this is getting more powerful than humans now, is the example of AlphaGo. And Justine, can you move on to the next slide? Okay, so AlphaGo, I don't know if you guys are aware of it. It was developed by Google, right? And it was developed to play the game, a board game called Go. And it was developed using reinforcement learning. And it became so good that it was able to defeat the world champion at that particular game. Right? And that is when people realize that, okay, machines can actually become more powerful than the human brain if trained properly. So that was a very big turning point. And that was all about the three algorithms that you need to know. When the course actually starts, we're going to go in depth in supervised learning and unsupervised learning, which are massively used in data science, and try to master the mathematics and try to master the programming aspect of it as well. So I just have a few questions to test if you really understood this, and we're going to ask that. So Jasleen, can you move to the next slide? So when you're working as a data scientist, right, you are going to be presented with problems, and you need to be able to figure out what type of learning algorithm should I use, right? So you can see the problem on the screen, right? So there's basically an ad agency which is trying to send out ads, right? It could be a gym, it could be some shopping center. They want to send out ads to customer, but they get data from Facebook, right? And Facebook gives them data about the gender of people, the age of people, maybe even the likes and dislikes. And using this data, the agency has to figure out to whom should we send the ads, right? There's no point of say sending ads of diapers to a 28-year-old male, right? So how do you target particular ads? Okay, so what do you think, which algorithm should we use? Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, or reinforcement learning? And in this case, you just have information about people. You do not previously know if they actually like the product or not. Right? You have no idea about that. You just have the information of people. Okay, so two people have said supervised learning. Does anyone disagree with this? Think maybe a different algorithm would be better? Reinforcement learning. Okay, so we're getting very diverse answers over here. Does anyone want to say unsupervised learning? That is the only one left. Does anyone want to try to explain why they believe that way? Or okay, so we have three guesses: supervised and reinforcement. So the actual answer for this is unsupervised learning, and let me tell you why. Right, this is not only done in ads, it's also done by YouTube when they're recommending something to you. So basically, they have information about people, right? They have the age, gender, and lots of stuff about them, but they do not know if they're gonna like something or not, right? So the input in this case is information about the person, and the output is gonna be whether he likes his product or not. The output is not known. So what ad agency do? They group people, they create clusters of people and send different ads to different people, and then they figure out like which ad is suitable for which group of people, right? Justine, can you move to the next slide? Yeah, so this is how it actually works. This is a very simple example. You can see you have ducks and mouse, right? So you're segregating customers, right? You're segregating customers who are very similar, right? You might see on YouTube that sometimes you might get very random recommendations, right? You might get some video of some cute puppy playing, right? And something that you've never seen before. The reason YouTube does that, it created a cluster of similar people, right? All 18-year-olds in this area, or all 24-year-olds working in some software engineering job. They have made clusters of people, and when they see that, okay, certain people in the clusters are enjoying it, they send the same recommendation to the entire cluster. That maximizes their success, right? So that is where unsupervised learning is used massively. Just one last question to test it. So, Jasleen, can you move to the next question? Yeah, thank you. So say you have to train a robot to play basketball, right? Or simply throw shots in the hoop. Problem is you don't know at what correct angle to shoot, and you don't know which force to shoot, right? So what algorithm could you use to train this kind of a bot? Does anyone want to take a guess? Okay, reinforcement learning. Okay. Yeah, I think everyone is saying reinforcement learning, and yes, that is the correct answer, because what you're going to do is you're going to assign the particular state of the ball getting inside the hoop with a very high reward, and when your bot does that, it was going to repeat the actions that gave it success. So I think people have learned a lot because they were correct. I think there's a doubt. So clustering is supervised and classification is okay. So basically unsupervised learning is massively used in customer segmentation. So they form clusters of people. So clustering is a technique used in unsupervised learning. Classification can also be done using unsupervised learning. So it's not like that. You cannot just see that classification is supervised, but clustering is a technique which is massively used in unsupervised learning. So that was all that you needed to know about the basics of machine learning. And I'm just gonna take just 5 minutes of your time just to tell you what you will be able to build throughout this course. Jasleen, can we move to the next slide?
Yes, sure.
So I'm sure that every one of you will be good at machine learning by the end of this course, but we need some products to document, right? When you're going to a company, you need a product. If you're applying for higher education, you need to have something to document. You cannot say that I have memorized the definition of machine learning or I understand some algorithm, right? So we're going to teach you how to build a web application, right? So you'll have a complete web app working, which will be based on machine learning, and we'll teach you how to deploy these models onto the cloud. I think somebody had asked that they want to learn cloud deployment, right? Which is a very important aspect. You see Netflix, you see Amazon, they're operating in the cloud, right? Before Netflix comes on your phone, it's making all the recommendations in the cloud. So we're going to teach you how to deploy models onto the cloud. Justine, next slide. Yeah, so we're going to be using a platform called Heroku, and we're going to show you how, once you have created a web application, how you can deploy that onto the cloud so anyone can use it, right? And last one of important application is time series models, and we're going to teach you how time series models work and how you can build your own time series models. So that was it for this, and if you have any doubts, you guys can ask if you have any doubts about the course, if there's anything in particular that you want to learn. And this basically sums up why you should enroll with us. Like this session, all these sessions will be completely live. You'll be able to ask your doubts as we are speaking, and we're going to give you projects and assignments, and we're going to track how you're progressing, and we're going to be building the models in front of you. And of course, we have student mentors, right? Ekta is a professional mentor. and me and Justine as student mentors, right, we know the student perspective as well, how difficult it is to manage exams and how you can still build your data science skills irrespective of whatever you're studying. So if you have any doubts, guys, you can ask that and we'll wrap up this session.
I think everyone wants to know about the course fees. Jasleen, can you share your screen? Go to gsea.com so that we can
Yeah,
actually show them.
I'll do that. Just give me a minute.
It would be better to, show the flow rather than everyone asking about the same question. Everyone can get clarity then. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. Do you all have any other technical questions till then? We'll just take those before I answer the course fee section. Anyone can just unmute themselves and also ask. We'll need them to ask that question. And you all can also provide us feedback for the session as to whether it was helpful for you or how did it go for you as a person individually.
Okay, before they share their views, this is the course breakup and the payment plan for whoever is asking. We have 3 plans right now for YA. The first one is for 6 months and that is for 3,500. You get 6 courses, 1 webinar per month, 1 session, 1 project and 2 questions from your chosen mentor. The second plan is for 8 months and that is for 4,000. It has 8 courses, 2 webinars, 2 sessions, 2 projects and 3 questions. And the 12-month plan is 5,000. You get 12 courses, 3 webinars, 3 sessions, 4 projects and 5 questions. And you get projects, quizzes and assignments for all 3, rewards and leaderboard for all 3. Rewards and leaderboard is basically if you complete an assignment or if you complete any challenge or any problem, homework assignment or stuff like that that we keep for you, you get rewards for it. And we will be disclosing more about it once the program begins. And then you get 24/7 platform assistance in the 8-month and 12-month plan. And add-on courses can be added only in the 5,000 rupees plan, which is for 12 months. And you get internship and job assistance in the 12-month plan and software licenses in the 12-month plan. I hope this clears the doubts for whoever had questions for the payment package. Any more questions regarding this?
So I'll just sum this up. If you take 6 courses together, you can get that in 3,500 rupees. So your data science course also comes under it, and then you can take Python, machine learning, artificial intelligence,
Yes,
different
exactly.
courses which are already present on the platform. You can club all that you like and just subscribe so that you get to learn more from us. And yes, it will be good to have some kind of coding experience if you have, some kind of Python basics. But if you do not have that, we are also we'll be equipping you with content which will help you get up to the mark.
Okay.
There are some questions here. Let's just answer those. If I miss any session, will the recorded version be made available? I am not very sure about this, but we can get back to you on this question. But I think they would be recorded for the people who are at least enrolled into the session. So I think you all will be able to see it twice and thrice also, how many times you want to see it.
And if you have any technical questions, you can just go to the contact us page over here and file your query, whatever you have, and the technical team will get back to you with all the clarifications. So you can just go to the contact page at gsa.com and fill in your query and your email ID, and they'll get back to you as soon as possible. So yeah, Ekta, continue.
Yeah, there are some other questions also, right? I'll just see.
So,
we start from the very beginning so that we've not missed out on anything. Ma'am, any prerequisites we need to know? Okay, so prerequisites is Python basics. If you all know, well and good. If you all don't know, we'll equip you with content and we'll also go through it briefly. I know some basic concepts of ML. Is it possible to use data science models with JavaScript-based web projects? So for using any kind of data science models, you can use Flask and Django also. But there would be some way by using like the model weights, you can directly use it in JavaScript application. So you just basically require an interface between JavaScript and your Python to, make it visible on your web browser. So that is what you're looking for. It's like an interface. So I think it should be possible. But with Flask and Django, you can definitely make web projects with the help of Python. So those things are very much easy and like very easy to learn. So won't be a problem. Will this PDF be shared? No, I don't think so that this PDF is going to be shared, but I think there's a Slack channel which is going to be created. So if that Slack channel gets created, we will definitely share the content over there. Is this course certified? Nachiket already has answered it that you will get a certificate on completion of the course. I have a question regarding the scholarship. We are supposed to pay for the course if we like today's session or the full course scholarship has been granted. So as we have already gone through the entire plans page, which is there on the website, you have understood that it's not a single course subscription, but you get like multi-dimensional advantage with the help of just paying for one plan. So that is about it. You can just go to GSYAY, that is your gsea.com, and look at the different plans and enroll. What is the other question? Is there something that I missed? No, I don't think I'm missing. EMI method available. I don't think so. EMI is available right now. It is not available right now. Anything else? Yeah. So can we know the cost? Yeah, we've already gone through the plans. Any other questions?
Stop
guys?
sharing, Ekta.
Yeah. Stop sharing this thing.
All right.
Guys, if you all have any feedback, anything, yeah, we are done sharing from our part. So if you all have anything else that you all want to ask or just give a feedback or whatever, please
Just
go ahead.
and talk.
And guys, if you still have any doubts after the session ends, as Justine showed, you can first of all go onto the website and access the chatbot over there. Whatever question you write, it will be accessed by the team members. They'll be able to respond to you. Also, you can connect with us on LinkedIn, and if you still have any doubt, you can reach us to us over there, and we'll be happy to answer any query you have. So I think no one has any other doubts, and I think we can end this session. Justine and Ekta.
Yeah, I guess
Yes,
so.
we should.
Hello.
Hello, yes, who's this?
Priya,
Yeah,
I
this
think.
is Priya.
Hi, Priya. Yes, please go ahead.
Just want to know, suppose if I like subscribe for this plan first and want to continue for this data science field only. So what are the 6 courses that I can select and continue for that? Can you please suggest me that?
Ekta, would you like to answer
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I'll answer the question. So you can take up the Python course. You can take up the machine learning course. You can take up the data science course. You can take up the AI intelligence and chatbot course. So these are the 4 courses I remember, but we can also go through the courses and I can let you know more on that. Like once you
Yeah,
enroll
because
as it's once you
I'm new for
enroll,
the
we can tell you. Sorry.
I'm new for the Python also, so I have to
Yeah. It would be really good. So this is very suitable for you. Like if you take up the 6 courses together in the 3,500 plan, it would be very much beneficial for you.
okay, fine.
Any more questions, guys? I don't think so. Okay, thank you guys for joining us. We had a wonderful time explaining the concepts to you. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening. Bye. Take care.
Thank you guys. Take care.
Thank you so much, everyone.